everybody. This is Dr. Bill Janeshak on the Conquering Stress podcast. And as I say every time, stress is it's physical, it's chemical, and emotional, and we can't really separate any of them because they all affect the body. We can have a perfect body and a terrible mindset, go through an extremely mentally stressful time. It changes our physiology. And just the same, we can be in a great shape, eating right, getting all the sleep that we need, and have something terrible on our mind, and it will affect our physiology. So that's why I created this whole thing, was conquering stress, because the very same things that can break you down physiologically or in your health, done right and put in the right position, can actually get you to health and optimum living on any terms that you wish to. So this one is, I've had a lot of conversations lately about what can I do, and I don't have time to do this, and I don't have to do this. And I had a theme coming up when I was talking to these patients is little hinges swing big doors. So what can you do rather than say, oh, I can't do everything, I can't do this, and I don't want to be a triathlete, and I don't want to go to the Olympics, and I just want to have some energy to get through the day, and I just want to not feel so terrible, and I just want to. Great. Repeat after me. Little hinges swing big doors. I mean, there's so many things, and I don't like, there's a big biohacking conference going on right now. And I don't like the term biohacking, because whenever you hear the term hacking, you think of like computer hackers or something, that somebody that's doing something that I can take a shortcut to this result. Well, there's non-negotiables that we have in our lives. You do not have the right to be healthy and take care of and abuse the foundations of health. We said it every time. You've got to breathe. You've got to breathe properly. Make sure you're doing that. You've got to make sure that you're drinking some water, that you're well hydrated. 80% of your body is water. You've got to replenish that. We sweat. We have a lot of other things. That's non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. You've got to eat real food, not stuff that just has calories in it that you can buy that's cheap and doing everything. You want unadulterated food. The best you can do to get that. You've got to make sure that you get your sleep. Sleep is vital. There's a reason that God put us in here to have 1/3 of our lives at rest, is because we need that. That's how we replenish our body. That's how our body heals and grows and everything else. So if you want to heal and grow, you've got to make sure you be getting your sleep. You've got to make sure that you're moving. The human animal is not meant to stay in a static position. This is why sitting is the new smoking. Standing desks are great unless you stand there all day. We used to stand all day, and then people were getting pain, and they were having dysfunctions, and they were getting injuries, and so they put them in the desk, and they just sat there. We cannot do that. We have to move. Movement is so important for us, just to be healthy. We've got to make sure that we get out in the sun. The sun is the ultimate creator of life, that it brings back down and makes the plants grow. When we get the plants, it creates oxygen. So you've got to get out in the sun, and you've got to make sure the sun does so many things other than just give you vitamin D, which is important. But it's created in a wonderful environment that we just have to get out into the sun. We've got to eliminate toxins from our body. We have natural processes in our body to get rid of waste products. That's why we go poo-poo and pee-pee. That's why we sweat. That's why we vomit. That's why we cry. All this stuff. These are the ways that we get things out of our body. And if we're taking in too many toxins, either on purpose or there's more chemicals now than there's ever been, and we're getting them off our plastics and our furniture, and even in our foods and in our air now that we're breathing. And if you're getting jabs, you're getting a bunch of those things in there as well. But the body has to get rid of these things, and you've got to. And this is a more subjective one, and a shameless plug as well. but you've got to eliminate stress. Stress is an important portion of our life because stress will actually make you grow. It's strain that really gets you. So I should call this the Conquering Strain podcast, but nobody would get that. But you get stress. Those are the non-negotiable things that you have to do. Those are the things that would make us human. Those are all things that are free and natural. We try to mitigate those. And again, that's why it goes back to hacks. Well, I want to sit on my butt all day and I want to just sit here and play video games, or I want to work 14 hours a day in front of the computer and I want to do this, and you don't move and you don't eat good and you don't do this, and we just can't do that. So if you're struggling with something, first go back to the stuff that you're supposed to be doing, that's requirement for you for living. And make sure you're breathing and you're getting your water and everything that I just explained, because those are the non-negotiables. I can't pronounce it. Non-negotiables. If you get those out of the way, then you can start looking at bigger things. Because I'll tell you, as a practitioner that makes a living out of treating patients, 80 to 85% of the people that I see with chronic conditions they're deficient in at least one or two of those areas. And if you get those dialed in, the world's your oyster. Most of the stuff that you have will go away. And it's not hard. So little hinges swing big doors. And those are all little things that you should be doing. But for instance, 5 minutes of sunlight in the morning, fresh sunlight, the first sunlight of the day, even if it's, you have cloud cover or whatever, but as soon as you can see that it's morning, if you can get out there and sit with your face in as much skin as exposed, don't shock the neighbors, but if you can do that, you want to get sunlight on your face and in your eyes. Don't stare at the sun to do that, but you want those photons getting into you, because there's an interesting thing that happens is that's going to set your circadian rhythm on how well you sleep that night. It starts the clock and it says, oh, okay, 18 hours from now, we're going to have to increase our melatonin, decrease our cortisol, and we can get out and we'll get a restful night's sleep. And when we sleep, we're gonna heal, we're gonna grow, we're gonna remember things, our brain's gonna detox itself, our body's gonna start doing good things. 5 minutes in the sun in the morning. That's simple. You get into movement. Movement's not walking. Everybody's like, oh, 10,000 steps a day. Our Paleolithic ancestors on their days off would walk between 8 and 15 miles a day, just living life. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So 10,000 steps, while it's awesome, our bodies, remember, we have new environments, especially in the last 20 and 30 years. Our environment has changed so much, but our bodies and our physiology is the same. We still require that movement. And there's things that you can do. Just stand up every 20 minutes if you sit all day. Move around, move your body in all sorts of different directions to get those movements in there. When you move, what you're doing, yes, you could be exercising and moving and the other thing, but it's lighting up your brain. It's getting your brain going. And so everything that's on the inside, we know that the brain runs the body, right? So it's best to exercise the brain. The way that we exercise the brain is to exercise or move the body. The more that our joints move and the muscles move, they contract and relax. And the body, I say that the brain is like a German shepherd. It likes lots of activity. The more activity that it has, the happier that it is. So just get out and move. And for those people say that they don't have time for exercise, well, maybe you don't have 150 minutes a week that you should have in zone 2, which is just means you're walking and your heart rate's up a little. But 12 minutes of high intensity exercise. So you do 5 minutes of warm up and you really go at it. And this is high intensity exercise. So this is when you can't talk and you're out of breath and the muscles are hurting and like that. You do that 12 minutes a week. So 4 times a week, you move for 3 minutes, or 3 times a week, you move for 4 minutes. Uh, you're going to hit a cascade of uh, hormone generation and brain expansion. You'll actually change the makeup of your brain or the chemistry of your brain. You'll actually move those muscles so they'll start to grow and move. You're going to start to get that heart rate up to where the heart stays healthy. 12 minutes. There's 168 hours in every week. If you really don't have 12 minutes to yourself where you can go out and really get after it, 12 minutes out of 196 or 168 hours, you got more problems than just health. So I I I I hate to be that straightforward about it, but that just means that you're not prioritizing yourself. You should visit, during that time of exercise, you're going to knock off another one, which is you should visit your maximum heart rate. Now, your maximum heart rate is going to be your maximum heart rate, not a maximum heart rate, depending on your age, your fitness level. But this is when you're getting up and you're huffing and puffing. And just to visit this, you can go high intensity exercise and then you just push for 30 seconds at the end and you're going to hit your maximum heart rate. And what that does for your body is it starts to expand the range that you live in. So if you're sleeping and your heart rate is very, very low and you're not doing anything, there's your bottom line. And when you visit I said, you just visit 30 seconds, you bring that up and you say, this is how fast my heart will go. Now your body has that range that it can live in, and it'll start to expand that, and that'll get better. Are you going to run be in the Olympics and run throws? No, but you're going to be much healthier in your heart. You're going to have a nice heart health. And again, that hormetic um, effect that you have is going to be great for you. Um, if you don't have time, if you don't have your 12 minutes, um, and you just need to decompress and you just get a 20-minute walk in nature, pick your nature. There's got to be a park around. If there's not a wooded area, if there's not a beach around, if there's something that's tree lined and there's something with grass on the ground, um, get out in nature and walk for 20 minutes. And if you can take off your shoes and actually have your skin touch earth, this is grounding. I've talked about this before on the podcast, so I won't go into the deep details on that. But studies have shown that a 20-minute walk in nature will decrease your blood pressure for 2 weeks. It'll bring it down at least 10 millimeters of mercury for a 2 week period in time. It's amazing. It's all free. It's easy. Um, you can go back over at the end of the day. I'm a big fan of journaling, a gratitude journal. So I'm not talking about running. I'm not talking about doing anything else, no exercise, but you just sit there and you for 5 minutes. And when you're concentrating on something, 5 minutes is a long time. If you start out with, I'm very glad that my finger moves. I'm so glad that I got up this morning. I'm so glad that I could walk. I'm so glad I have a job. I'm so glad that um, I'm breathing today. Start with the very small and minuscule thing, and what you'll find you'll do that's going to feed into something else. Gratitude. We're going full hippie on there. Remember, stress is physical, chemical, emotional. And the emotional state of gratitude is going to put you into a focus. Your brain will focus on what you want. So if you're one of these people that wakes up in the morning, you go and pee and brush your teeth and put on something, and you go downstairs and you pick up your phone, the first thing that you're doing is wondering what I got to do today. You're starting a stress response. It's how you set your trajectory. That's your GPS for the day. But if you get in and end of the night, beginning of the day, I do both. I start out with, I was so happy that I slept really well, or I slept better, or I'm so happy for the breeze that I could feel in coming through the window last night. I was so happy for the sheets that were clean. I was so happy. I'm grateful that it was quiet last night. Whatever it was, you start out with something simple that you're happy about. It calms the nervous system. It takes you from a sympathetic or fight or flight state into that rest and relaxation. That's when your body's calm. That's when there's more blood flowing. That's when everything's going right. 5 minute journal. And if you absolutely can't do that, do 3 minutes. Once you start doing that, you'll find that it kind of takes on a mind of its own. Um, 2 or 3 minutes of relaxed breathing. If you're tied to your desk and you don't have the 12 minutes a week to get out there and exercise, and there happens to be no nature around wherever you are, you're locked in a building or something, sit back, take 2 or 3 minutes of breathing in. Breathe in for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, breathe out for 3 seconds, rest for 3 seconds, breathe in, breathe out. I mean, I hope you know how to breathe. But if you just take these little things like that, that'll automatically calm you. If you're thinking about something, if stress, physical, chemical, emotion, if your mind is going and your mind is going, the best way to change your mentality is change your physiology first. Get out moving. If you can't get up and move, you can move your diaphragm. You can do that. Breathing, controlled, slow breathing will slow everything else down for you. It'll lower the heart rate. It'll prepare you for digestion. It'll calm that monkey mind that you may be having. But really, just 2, 3 minutes of breathing. Come on, we can do that. You want to get back over and just concentrate on look in a gaze at far away. I call this the 20-20-20 rule. So people that live in front of a computer, and you're always in front of a computer that's going on, is you have, remember that your pupils, they're muscles, just like a bicep or anything else that's going on. It's a muscle, and if it doesn't get used, if you went to the gym every day and you curled 10 pounds, well, when you start out, that might be a little resistance for you, but that muscle, when you use it, it should grow, right? So it soon will become easy to do that. Well, your eyes will do the same thing. You know, most of the time in people today, you have about a 15-foot radius that you focus on. And so there's no wonder that our eyes, they get weak, those muscles get weak, just like if we were curling a light dumbbell. So we have trouble focusing far away. So if you're sitting at a desk or you're just, you need to get out. It's another great way to get out in the sunlight. In Get out if you can. But if you can't, even if you just stare out a window, I want you to stare 20 minutes a day, or 20 miles away for 20 seconds, and then take a 20-second break, and then do that again, and then focus on something closer to you, just like you did, and start to work that eye muscle. There's something that's interesting is when you fix your gaze up the horizon, it automatically relaxes you. We actually call this the learning state. When you're learning and you're focused far away onto the horizon and you hold it there, you can do that right now. Not if you're driving. If you're driving, don't do this. But you can focus far away, and what you'll find is you'll feel right away your mind kind of drop down, like it calms itself. And what you'll start to do is your peripheral vision will start to increase. You're going to have more of awareness. When you have this panoramic view and you're really working the peripheral view, it calms the nervous system. It's a signal. So when we're under stress, if you think about it, we focus on one little thing, and we call this foveal because that's the way that it's like focused sight. We don't see anything from by. If you've ever been really concentrating on something, or you're in a movie or something, there's people walking by, you don't even see them. But if you take this and you focus far away, one is it's going to calm your mind and do good. The other thing that it's going to do, it's going to start to strengthen those muscles in your eyes, and it's going to help improve your vision. So these are just a couple things that you can do, and there's tons and tons of things, but little hinges swing big doors. Those little things, 5 minutes here, 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, 4 minutes there. It's not a lot of time. You have 168 hours in a week. You should be able to get this done again, but you have to take that consistency, and you've got to want to get better. Get a lot of patients that'll come in and say, fix me. And I'll show up, and they think that's all that they have to do. If there's anything that you're going to do that's going to heal your body from the outside, you're not a health case. You're being managed. And if you're going to manage a condition, then eventually it's just going to break down, even with great management. Drugs don't heal people. They manipulate physiology. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary, and thank God for the people that can do that, because those are crises. But when we're talking about chronic conditions, we're talking about energy, we're talking about your strength, your ability to sleep, to function in your day, to enjoy your life. I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 more, is that the only reason that we take care of this meat suit is because it carries the spirit inside of us. The spirit inside of us is what makes you dream, what makes you smile, what makes you laugh, what makes you love. It could be your family and your friends. It can be traveling. It can be doing, anytime you're out doing something, experiencing life, that's the thing that you want to focus on. And this meat suit that we're taking care of allows us to express that. And this is why people, the number one stress reliever and the best drug for depression is exercise. It's twice as effective as any pharmaceutical. But you got to feel like it. I don't feel like it. I'm tired. I'm like it. You know what? Sometimes people just got to get over their feelings and embrace the suck, because there's nothing that's good that and long lasting that's easy. Giving birth is not comfortable, right? But isn't it the most? I haven't had a baby myself, but I am a father, and that pain that you go through, they say it's the worst, one of the worst pains that you can go, but you forget about it so fast, that because the love and uh the yeah, just the pure love that you're seeing, and the outcome was so great, you forget about the problem. And this is, we can do this time and time again. Every time you've had to study to get a degree, to get this job, once you get that job, it was well worth it. If you're working out, so I was really killing it in the gym, and I was, killing myself, and I had to focus on my diet, and this was tough and that was tough. And then you get out and you're healthier than you've ever been. It's always those tough times. And I talk a lot about the hero's journey. If you haven't heard me talk about that ad nauseum, it's a system of what happens when you transform. And it's never comfortable. It hurts physically and it hurts mentally, but to get over this, you get to come out the other side, and then you see what real joy is. If your only goal is to not hurt and stop doing that, your dreams aren't big enough. And the reason that I'm doing this is because sometimes I'm just begging people to advocate for themselves, care enough to get a little uncomfortable. I'm not even asking you to go out and look like David Goggins or anybody else, or go out and kill it. But sometimes if your muscle hurts, you got to move it around, and it hurts to get it better. Sometimes you know, if you're sick or something, you've got to go through that so that you can feel better. And if you can't find the time to go out and do these small things, then we're going to have some problems. But the reason that I'm making this is I want you to understand that you don't have to do a lot, just be consistent with small things. And there's a great book called Atomic Habits by an author named James Clear. And he lays it out pretty simple about how to create good habits, how to get rid of bad habits. I think you should all go pick up that book if you haven't heard of it. So just like there's a bunch of good things that little good things that you can do that are going to start to create your health and start to turn around, there's also a bunch of stuff that you can do right, when you do a little bit of, they can have a devastating effect. Of course there's drugs and things like that, but I'm just talking about something like if your breakfast consists of like oatmeal and donuts and toast and something like it. So if you're eating carbs in the morning, you're kind of setting yourself up, even if, well, I just had a little cup, you're still getting an insulin response that's going to cause you to crash and go down. And then 2 hours later, you're going to crave carbs again because you want a hit. It's almost like a little heroin that, it makes you more depressed, and then you come up again and you go through this yo-yo thing. And this is why people feel brain fog, and they're tired after work, and they can't concentrate. It's just these little things. It's one little change like that, just by changing the first thing that you put in your pie hole in the morning can be huge. Um, Set an alarm to go to bed on time, because for every hour that you're up after 10 o'clock, it's like you're losing 2 hours of restful sleep. There's something that happens with the circadian rhythm when you go on. We are supposed to, we're meant to, when we see first sunlight, the sunlight hits our eyes, and just like I said, to get out to get that sunlight on, it sets off the cortisol. And cortisol is a good thing because it wakes you up, and that's what gets you out of bed. Well, like I said before, that sets your circadian rhythm, and we're supposed to go around. And when our bodies were made, we didn't have lights, and we didn't have fluorescent lights and things like that to keep us up. So we're setting that going. So we have all this artificial light. So our body's going, wait, wait, wait. Are we supposed to go to bed now? You think about when we were cavemen, we would kill something, hopefully, and then we'd come back and we'd start a fire and we would cook it, and everybody would gather around and the sun would go down, and then they'd let the amber light fall down. And so we're kind of conditioned to go to sleep about an hour after sun goes down. Well, most of us don't do that. Sun goes down and we turn on the lights and we'll watch TV, we'll read, we'll do exercise, whatever, but we keep ourselves up. And so if you can go to bed at a proper time, and, well, I'm a night owl. Well, you know what? You're probably more entertained at night. If you change uh, your sleep schedule and you get things start moving around better, you'll find that you have more energy. You're going to find your blood sugar is much easier to deal with. You're going to find that your cardiovascular system goes up. You're going to find that you actually get stronger. You're going to be a quicker thinker. You're going to have better vision. You're going to have better skin. You're going to have better fitness. Everything that's going to get better gets better with sleep. Remember, that's part of our non-negotiable foundations of health. But it's something just as simple as getting a little bit more sleep, and it's just about planning it. And again, if you have trouble planning or getting good habits, pick up the Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a wonderful book. Um, Excessive caffeine. I get this question a lot. Was coffee bad? Coffee is actually really good for you. It's a brain stimulant. There's a lot of antioxidants in it. Uh, a lot of the drinks made with a lot of sugars are not good, but coffee in itself is not bad. 1, 2 cups of coffee a day can probably be good. Some people get caffeine adapted, and they can handle more caffeine. Uh, and I think that if they learn to take less caffeine, they'd be better off. But there's normal variance in everybody. But when you start to get excess caffeine, caffeine's a diuretic and will help start to pull fluid and electrolytes and minerals and stuff out of your body. So that's not a good thing. So as soon as you take too much, if you're one of these, 4 to 6 cups of coffee a day person, then you would do well to maybe stop your caffeinated beverages by, 10 or 11 in the morning, maybe noon or something, which will help you out a lot with your normal circadian rhythm and the like. Just sitting by itself, you're sitting for 20 minutes without moving out of a position, you're decreasing the blood flow to your brain, the cerebellum or the frontal lobe. And this is why people that sit all day, and they've done studies with that, and they've taken somebody that's you give them the same amount of calories in the morning and the same food, and you have somebody sitting at a desk over here and somebody else that has an active job, say like a UPS driver or a postman or something, or post person. I don't even know the correct way to put that anyway. The guy or gal that delivers your mail. So they're moving through the day. They're not stressed, but they're just, you know, moving around. By the end of the day, and maybe you know someone like that. If you ask the person that sits down all day to do anything after work, they go, "Oh my God, no, I'm exhausted. I don't have time to exercise. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to go home, eat, sit on the couch, and watch TV." The guy that's been moving all day will tend to keep moving because he's building energy all day just by moving around. Same amount of calories, same like calories, those are just the fuel that you need. He's used that fuel when he's going through, but he still has energy because the movement will actually create energy. So if you're sitting, and they'll show that this reduced blood volume happens after 20 minutes of just sitting without moving. Not a good thing. If you are tied to your desk and you can't do anything and you can't get outside, you don't do this and you're on a deadline, every 20 minutes, stand up, do 2 laps around your desk, shake things out, move every joint in your body, stretch real good, and sit back down. That whole thing may maybe take you 20 seconds. If you can't give up 1 minute out of 1 hour to move things around, you know, again, you're probably the same person that can't exercise 12 minutes a week out of 168. So there's only so much things. That's not even good English. That's there's only so many things that we can want for you. The point of all this stuff about these little hinges that swing big doors is that you can make a big influence in your life just by doing the foundations. And if it's not convenient, find a way that makes it convenient. Maybe there's a glass of water on your desk all day. Maybe there's a timer over there that tells you to get up and shake your booty and take, 2 laps around your desk. Um, there's another timer that says before you eat, you're going to breathe for 3 minutes, just in and out, in and out. This literally takes no extra time. You're going to be doing something. If you do something mindful and do yourself in a very short time, I'm talking a matter of a week and a half, you'll see a big difference. You probably see some changes on the scale as well. You'll start to lose weight because you're moving the body. It's wanting to go back to what we call homeostasis or baseline or balance. So any of these things that go on. So that's the Conquering Stress podcast. I wanted to get this out because, like I said, I've been having this conversation a lot more than usual over the last week, and just get out and do something. But first, care enough to do that. Care enough to make the adaptations to get better. Because if you're not healthy and if you're not doing the right thing, it's not a matter of if you're going to get a chronic disease. It's just when. If you don't have those foundations, there's the reason that they're called the foundation. They're non-negotiable. You cannot live a long period of time and live well for a long period of time without taking care of these things. And if your lifestyle is such that it doesn't allow you to do that, you're not going to have a lifestyle for very, very long. And you're not going to enjoy the lifestyle that you have. So just some food for thought there. But it doesn't take a lot. And nobody's asking you to, like I said, run a triathlon. We just want you around for as long as possible. And I'm sure you have some loved ones and some other people that really enjoy having you around. And just do the little things. Little hinges swing big doors. So if you know somebody that's stressed to the gills, tied to their desk, and doesn't seem to be making waves in their healthcare journey, uh, share this podcast. Maybe there's something in there that I said that will ring true for them and get them to take a little bit of action. So this is Dr. Bill Janeshak on the Conquering Stress Podcast.